Hello folks, this is the Black Weasel, and today is my movie review of The Big Short. I saw this movie as a last minute choice when I was going to watch multiple movies at the local theater. All the movies I watched were like movies I'll talk about later. Anyways, The Big Short is a financial documentary film released on December 11th, so almost like 2 weeks ago. It talks about how like a really small amount of people knew that the housing bubble was going to crash, and so what they did was there is no solid protagonist, but it's a movie that follows 2 to 3 different groups of people and how it saw it coming. It all starts with one heavy metal listening guy has a glass eye named Dr. Michael Berry, who's a guy who really crunched some heavy numbers and says that the people who took out loans prior towards the 2008 crash, they were able to pay for houses, the really big ass houses, far out in the suburbs of certain cities, such as like those 3 garage houses. They were living in them, but they weren't able to pay off the loans. And then to add insult to injury, there was this agency that rates bonds as AAA, even though they were complete shit. Like, I remember one funny moment where the guy said that it's like taking dog shit and wrapping it around in cat shit to make it look like it's not worth a lot, but it's still shit either way. I'll give this movie an 8.5 out of 10, and the reason why I said this is because it does a real great job of breaking down what happened. At the same time, it makes a moral statement. Like, should you do certain stuff for the money, or should you like try to help people out? For me, probably not, cause like I'm kind of like my own man. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, you kind of have to learn how to think for yourself in terms of business wise. So like these guys were looking out on their own ends, except for Mark Baum, who was played by Steve Carell, like who is a loud ass talking person. Walking around talking loudly on his phone, meanwhile driving around, getting rides in cabs. One scene I liked was when Michael Berry and a friend of his was driving around houses, and they talked to one of the guys. Well, they talked to this fat guy who's not really rich, but he took out loans to pay for the big houses. Who has certain tattoos and as a kid. He doesn't look like. Never mind. Anyways, shit. Where am I going here with this? Anyways, they drive around and they walk into a house. When they walk into people's houses, and they find out one of them took the TV and just hauled ass. And another of them changed their phone numbers. And it turns out like the housing market was gonna crash in the way of people just hauling asses. So I'll give this film like an 8.5 out of 10 because I can relate this towards in real life. Well, not really. Nothing bad happened to me, but the same because I was in junior high when this happened. So, but the problem is like it kind of shows like what goes up must come down. In 2007, it was a housing bubble. So, if I had to guess, for student loans, it would probably be in or around 2018. And the reason why I say this is because what goes up must come down, and student loan debt is at $1.2 trillion, and you cannot declare bankruptcy on student loans because when somebody comes to repossess one of your items when you can't pay back, they can't repossess that as guy's education because you can't do that. You can do it with cars, like if you take out a loan payment to pay for a caddy, they can repossess the caddy, but they can't repossess the education that you got. So yeah, that's about it. I'll give this film like an 8.5. Now for the box office and the budget, it cost $28 million to make. $28 million to make. Meanwhile, it made $1.5 million at the box office. Well, that's kind of fucked up. But at the same time, they had to deal with the Star Wars being shown out. Well, it was did a week earlier, but at the same time, it's sort of like perfect bad timing. So yeah.